Okay, this video will be short, but I've been cleaning my house. Wait, I shouldn't look at these in this video because it'll be short. I'm going to look at... I found more science books over in Ye Old Nonfiction section, and I culled them out and brought them over. That shelf was a little ragged. I took out the books of pure utility. I'm going to make that their own shelf. For now, there are these piles on a shelf. Okay, I looked at all these already. There's some video. You can see me going, blah, blah, blah. Here's a book. But I reorganized some books here. And now we have some books that I feel more appropriately belong in the science sections than some of those ones that got removed. Check it out. 5 books by Oliver Sacks. Hey, that guy could have his own part of a shelf in a single author case if I have another one sometime, or another shelf of one. Here's the classic. I need to clean this cover somehow. Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. So good. Amazing. Every chapter is a different neurological case of his that was a real curiosity. The guy who took so many drugs that everything smelled as intensely as a dog smells it. And he followed scent trails everywhere that he could basically see. That power of smell was so strong. Or the guy who mistook his wife for a hat. That's a crazy story. He can only see very close things. So he's like, her hair's brown, this hat's brown. There's some incredible stories in here. Those are the 2 I remember. Because my brain is rotting styrofoam. It's a kind of hilarious author photo. He's a cool guy. So nice. Wrote me a letter after he met me, and I gave him a book at his book signing and event. Gave a great lecture and speech and Q&A. The Island of the Colorblind. I don't know anything about this one. Oh, it's about islands. Neurologic. Oh. Maybe it's about one thing in particular. One island in particular. And then he goes to Guam. I've been to Guam. I have a memory of a dingy airport with a yellowed ceiling. I spent a lot of time on Saipan near Guam, where my brother Matt lived for a long time. Visited twice as a teenager. So cool. Went to Tinian, saw where the nuclear bombs were stored before they were taken to Nagasaki and Hiroshima and dropped on those cities, killing hundreds of thousands. I don't know what this one's about either, but I like that title, An Anthropologist on Mars. I don't believe he's an anthropologist. But I feel like everyone who studies human nature and the world and what is has a bit of the anthropologist in them. At least I hope so. Maybe a real anthropologist would argue. But when I took an anthropology class in school taught by the great Marta Weigel, who's written so many books, we always had a lot to talk about. 7 paradoxical tales. My guess would be this is like Marxist. Sheesh, I keep like turning it off when I think it's on. Oliver Sacks, The Mind's Eye. Yeah, he's really got the big author. I guess he's kind of a celebrity author a little bit. Photo, you know? Because he was always on shows and stuff, especially like NPR. Okay, that's science. Here's Awakenings. Great movie, really cool movie. One of those intense movies I don't seek out lightly. You know, I just felt like relaxing and watching Awakenings. I have relaxed at some pretty strange movies. My then wife and I watched Control one Valentine's Day. The story of Ian Curtis's tragic life and death. It's just a great movie, though. It was still satisfying. In the band Joy Division. But I've never read this book. Well, I think I have. I don't know. I've read a lot of stuff so long ago that it's like I really might as well not have. Maybe it's in deep background somewhere in my being somewhere, but it ain't a useful store of facts or an easily accessed thing to talk about all the time. Okay, what else we got here? Michael Pollan is such an interesting career. Guy writes books about cooking, then he writes books about psychedelic drugs. Amazing figure. So interesting. I mean, not just cooking. He wrote about food. I really liked his book. Can't remember what it was called. It was really short, like a slim paperback. And its motto was, eat food, mostly plants, not too much. Like things that grow out of the ground. Actual real food, not lab-made stuff usually. Don't gorge yourself and overload your system. Wow. Then he transitions from that to thinking about this. I mean, that's kind of cool. To me, you can see natural progressions in some of the eccentric trajectories of writers in both fiction and nonfiction. But I want to read this. I heard him give a great interview about it. Sounds pretty amazing. It's going to be a rather rushed video, not without going off about all of them, just because I got to pick up my daughter pretty soon. I looked it up on GPS. It's 14 minutes from here to the theater she's at, so I need to leave with time enough to be on time by 7:15. Been cleaning and trying to make my house nice. It's not my apartment. I mean, it's not like it was horrible, but stuff adds up. And the litter box is a project every time. And I had this shower curtain rod that kept falling down. I don't think it will again. Stuff needs vacuumed and dishes need washed and this and that needs tidied up. The kitties need petted and paid their tributes. Okay, subliminal, how your unconscious mind rules behavior. Yeah, you know, I'm in what essayist poet Alicia Gabbard calls open mode in her book, The Unreality of Memory. Maybe it was just in some interview, but she calls it that. And everything is a part of my book that I'm working on for me. I like half the book, more than half, most of the books that I kept have some connection in my mind to my book that I'm working on. I think about that, like, this could influence it in this way, or this might be interesting to read when I'm thinking about this theme. This is definitely one, because like I recently wrote a writing handbook that's unpublished. I might do a video on it sometime. I think I showed it maybe once. I think it's like really cool visually. It's got black and white images woven throughout that kind of vaguely, faintly echo the general themes of the work and create a real mood, I think, and make the readers slow down. But one of my pieces of advice in there, because it's little 200-word vignettes that somehow seem to overwhelm people, and none of my test readers will read it and finish it. Like, they're so short. I literally put 2-inch margins on every side of a block of text. I've gotten almost no one to read it all the way through. But I have a lot of really cool formatting elements in it. But I think it looks good. Good rules for good writing, I called it. It started as just a file of things I like tell myself all the time. Like, put like with like. Write in paragraphs. But one that I really feel deeply was collaborate with your unconscious. And, you know, like, that's why criticism and the variety of readers is so great. You get to hear all these different perspectives and things, and the people might not be wrong. Writers don't always know what they're putting in their work. Some people lack all self-awareness about how much of themselves they're putting into their work, I think. But what I try to do, and I think is a good technique for a creator in any medium, but it sure works for me in writing, I think, is notice what my unconscious mind is doing and then collaborate with it and be like, I'm going to make that better. You know, honor your mistake as a hidden intention, as Brian Eno and Peter K. Schmidt's Oblique Strategy said. Because it kind of is. It's not like a made-up scenario. It is a hidden intention. So this looks good, and it's a pretty enough paperback. I like it. The Reluctant Mr. Darwin, David Quammen. This looks cool. Science biography by a science writer. Let's check it out. I love the subject of Darwin, too. He's a fascinating figure. It's fun to hang out with really brilliant historical figures. This is like the wave equivalent of that Cloud Handbook, the Wave Watcher's Companion. Look at the different waves, but it's textier. It talks about how waves work, and there's some beautiful physics and interesting stuff behind it. I've read a book or two on that subject before, waves, and like how a wave in a river is totally different than a wave in the ocean. So interesting. Like, think about a ripple in a river, like going around a snag, like a branch stuck in a current. You know, that's totally different water every second. What is that wave there? It's just a form. Whereas the wave in the ocean might be the same water. I don't know. Maybe not totally different. But this book looks good. Looks nice. I like it. Solid. You could read it on an airplane. So, I kind of hate like just how influential this book was in my life, but it really was. When I was writing my column, My Strange New Mexico, because I always research around a theme whenever I'm working on anything, I bought up every book and read everything I could on the weird, the strange, the bizarre. Those were words I searched all the time and found all the time. Google Books was in a heyday. And so like my thing with that column was just to be as objective as possible. But it kind of like helped lead me away from like religion. The religion I had grown up with made me like really like a super rationalist skeptic for a while. And I still am in a lot of ways. As someone once said, skepticism is a great place to make your square one so that you have a stable place to stand on when the really weird stuff starts happening. Something like that. Or as I say, I'm an agnostic about reality. But this book really helped me kind of free my thinking from the claims of the religion I grew up in. And just got me, I don't know, probably was a negative factor on my first marriage. Caused real divisions. Was one of many books, you know, that led to that. But because like once you see like, oh, Mormonism's not true, you know, like if you've grown up in that, like look at this stuff. Look at all these pieces. None of this makes sense. This has all the marks of every other religion, you know? And I've been manipulated and exploited by people lying to me, you know? Once you like have that, like, I don't know, it does feel like, have I been in a cult? And, you know, you just can't believe, I don't know, it's like, so that was a big division in that first marriage, and I really felt like my kids could be influenced that way. I don't know why I felt that so intensely. I don't think they would have ever ended up in it now that I know their personalities. It was a real fear of mine when they were young. I could just see all these forces like rushing to claim them. When they're old enough to get baptized, they have to get baptized. When they've got to get blessed, and you know, visiting teachers that come visit them all the time, home teachers. Anyway, everyone has their weird beliefs probably, but this book, in particular, the chapter about logical fallacies. Logical fallacies were like a revelation to me when I first discovered them. I just felt like, oh, I've been so easily manipulated by everything I've ever heard, and I didn't realize these basic argumentative attacks, like I have to go and I'm going to be late, like the appeal to reason or the appeal to ignorance or whatever, or the ad hominem attack or the straw man or whatever, you know, like anthropology. Just got this one recently from a free box. Okay, I got to go. I got to pick up my daughter. This has been some more science books.